Okay, the Sephora Spring Savings Event dates have been announced. It starts in April. I've been holding out because I actually need to repurchase a lot of my go-to products, and I've finished a few up. I'm getting close to using some others up, so I want to purchase them during the sale when I can get them for a discounted price. And then there are a couple of things I've been thinking about buying as well. I just went through and updated my wish list last week, or my loves list, so I thought I would share everything on it. I'm not going to buy all of these products, but there are a few things that I'm thinking about buying. So if you've tried them, I would love to hear your thoughts, whether or not you think they're worth the money. And I'll share a couple of my staples that I'm planning on grabbing during the sale as well. I know people tend to complain about the sale and they're like, I wish Sephora would increase the amounts, which I definitely agree with. That would be nice, of course. But I do think it is worth shopping if I was going to pay full price for these products anyway. And then I usually use it as a chance to purchase a few new things too. So I would love to hear if there's anything on your wish list. You know, the thing about the fall sale is sometimes the individual brands have different sales for like Black Friday and Cyber Monday around the same time of the year, or just holiday sales in general. But usually in the spring, sales are a little less frequent. So that's when I usually stock up on a few of my favorites. Okay, let's start with cheek products because there are really only two that I'm considering picking up during the sale. I haven't been wearing like a ton of cheek products, and I feel like there aren't a lot of new formulas that have caught my eye. But this one from Patrick Ta is definitely on my list. Patrick Ta launched his, I think it was considered like his spring collection a few weeks ago. He did 3 new blush duos, some new lip glosses, and I almost picked up one of the blush duos immediately because this is a blush duo I think I will wear almost every single time I wear blush. But I was like, let's just wait because the Sephora sale is right around the corner and now it's out of stock. So I'm hoping it gets restocked before the sale. The duo is called Not Too Much and is described as a soft rosy taupe. It looks like a pretty light duo, which I feel like will be perfect for everyday wear. My favorite blush duo from Patrick Ta is She's So LA. And looking at them side by side, like She's So LA is definitely a little bit more intense. That really is my go-to because it gives you a beautiful bronzy look. But the new one looks like it will be perfect for like a very subtle blush day. And that's what I've really been into. I either wear like no blush or something that's like barely detectable, not usually something too vibrant. I would love to be like a pink blush fan because the new duo Just Enough looks amazing. It's a soft blue pink, and I feel like I would wear that more than the one I have. I have She's a Doll, which is really, really bright. Do I have She's a Doll? Now I can't remember. He actually has a lot of different blushes. I didn't realize there were actually 12 different duos now. I do have a brighter pink duo from Patrick Ta. It's like my least worn duo just because I want to be a pink blush fan. It just doesn't always look great on my skin tone or combined with like the different makeup looks I typically do. So practically speaking, I feel like I would get the most use out of Not Too Much. It's just, like I said, currently out of stock. So if that goes back in stock, I will definitely grab that during the sale. The other blush that I am considering is from LYS Beauty. They launched Higher Standard Cream Blush Sticks, and I love their cream contour. That is one of my favorite products. It's so rich and intense. It's very long lasting, but because it's so pigmented, you really just need such a small amount. I will pretty much buy any LYS Beauty launch because their products are so gorgeous, and I feel like the blushes will be just as good as the bronzers, and these are marketed as glowy blushes, which is my favorite. So I think I might grab the shade Focused. It is a tone that I would probably wear a little bit more so during like the fall and the winter rather than the spring and the summer, especially because I'm not in like a big blush phase right now. These shades are gorgeous. Like these make me wish I was a fan of pinks because there are some really intense, vibrant, beautiful pinks. I might have gone with the shade Curvy, but again, I know practically I won't wear like those peachy pinks as much. So if I do pick this up, I'll go with the shade Focused. I haven't watched any reviews on this, but on Sephora's website, it currently has 5 stars, which I don't doubt is true because their products really are beautiful. Actually, there is a new value set that I'm considering that also has a blush in it. I'm doing a video, it should be like the next video that goes up on my channel, on all of the new Sephora gift sets and value sets because a ton of them just launched just in time for the Sephora Savings Event. So I'm going to break it down and share which ones I think are worth the money and which ones aren't. This is one that I'm really curious about because it does come with a full-size blush and a full-size lip product from Amicole, which is another one of my favorite brands at Sephora. So you get their lip treatment oil in the shade Bliss, which is a subtle light pink, and then the Desert Date Cream Multi-Stick in Hibiscus, which is like their cream blush, but you could also use it on the lips, probably the eyes too. Like I said, love this brand. Everything I've tried from the brand so far has been amazing, and I do love their lip treatment oil. I have it in like a bright pink and then also a brown. I've actually been wearing the nude one quite a bit lately, so I feel like Bliss would be the perfect option for spring. And I've had their blush stick on my Sephora Loves list for a while. I just wasn't sure which shade to get, and looking at them closely, I do think the shade Hibiscus would be perfect for me. So I might grab this set. It retails for $35, but it's $42 in value. And then obviously with the discount, you get even more of a saving. So that is currently on my wish list as well, but I feel like that has the potential to sell out too. If I don't pick up that set and I decide to go with a different blush formula, I might still grab one of the Ami Colé Hydrating Lip Treatment Oils. Although there are a couple of different shades I'm kind of considering. I also really like the shade Romance, which they describe as a cranberry. Again, I'm kind of like, is that a shade I would wear more so in the fall and winter? I really do change up my makeup seasonally. So the shades that I usually reach for in the spring and summer tend to be a lot different than the shades I reach for in the fall and the winter. So I'm like, maybe I'll hold off on that shade and go with Bliss because it is like a lighter, softer pink. It could be more ideal for this time of the year, but I do love that formula. I think I might grab the Lawless Forget the Filler gloss in the shade Maple Sugar, which they describe as a warm truffle. I feel like it's going to be lighter on the lips in person because I've said this before, but every time I get one of their glosses, it is significantly lighter than it is online. Like the swatches online are always so rich, so intense. And I like the fact that they're a little bit more sheer because I feel like you can wear them on their own and they're not too intense. Like I don't love an overly pigmented gloss for day to day, but I do feel like Maple Sugar is a shade that I would wear a ton. That is one of my favorite colors to wear, kind of like a deeper, cooler toned nude. I feel like that pairs perfectly with a lip liner, but it's also great on its own. And that really is my favorite lip gloss formula. I usually pick one up during the sales. Lawless has a product that I haven't tried that I've had on my loves list for a little while too. So if you've tried this product, I'm really curious to know if you think it's worth the money. And I think the reason I hesitate is because it's like a tinted lip balm. And in my mind, I have purchased high-end lip balms. Like I love the Summer Fridays ones. I really enjoy the new Tower 28 ones. But I'm like, is this worth $26 when I could just go with one of their glosses that I know I love? So if you've tried their Forget the Filler, lip plumping, line smoothing lip balms, let me know what you think. How would you say they compare to the glosses? The glosses are obviously like pretty thick, super shiny, but I love that they feel so nourishing on the lips. I think the color payoff is nice. So I'm curious about the balms. Would you say they're similar to the Makeup by Mario lip balms? I'm wearing one of those today with a little bit of a lip oil on top just for like extra added shine. And I do love those, but they're really thin. So I feel like they're not quite as long lasting as like a Lawless gloss. Anyway, I don't have like a particular shade in mind, I guess. I'm just curious about the formula. It's been on my loves list for a little while, so I'm kind of going back and forth on it. When it comes to eyes, I actually might pick up an eyeshadow palette. I don't think I've purchased a new palette since I purchased, which one was it? I'm trying to think. It has been a long time. I want to say it was I Need a Nude from Natasha Denona. I don't know if that's right or not, but I feel like that's the case. I just haven't really been into new eyeshadow palettes as a whole. Last year, I told myself I could purchase 3, and this year I don't have like a specific limit in mind because I feel like my eyeshadow palette obsession is finally under control. Like if you've been around for years, there was a year where I purchased like 100, 150, and then the next year I cut it down and cut it down. One year I did 12 because I did like one per month. And then last year, finally, I was like, I need to cut it down. Now it is finally under control. I still love eyeshadow. I haven't been doing it quite as much because it is like one of the more time consuming parts of my makeup routine when I do like a more intricate look. And I don't have a ton of time these days with a newborn. So I usually reach for like a matte or a bronzer in the crease. Today I have the Flower Beauty Heat Wave bronzer, and then I just have the Rare Beauty highlighter all over the lid, and it takes 2 seconds. But I will say, oddly enough, I've been appreciating matte shadows more and more. For such a long time, I was like only a metallic and shimmer fan, and I would use mattes in the crease, but they were more so like my accessory shadow that I wasn't as excited about. And I still wear a shimmer like every time I wear eyeshadow, but there's something about like a quick, easy to blend a quick, easy to blend matte shadow that I really appreciate because I don't know. I mean, as I get older, like my eyes are a little bit more wrinkled, and sometimes if the shadow doesn't blend as easily, it starts to look patchy. It's frustrating, and I don't want to sit there and blend a rough matte shadow out for a long time. Another thing I've appreciated are neutral shadows that aren't too orangey. Like I love a warm shadow, but I feel like so many of my matte shadows are really so orangey. So anyway, I might grab this. I skipped over it when it first launched, the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 3 matte palette. I really do like Patrick Ta's matte formula. I think I like his shimmer formula a little bit better, but I've been using Major Dimension 1 a ton. Like that's been one of my go-to palettes. So even though I skipped over this when it first launched because I wasn't quite so excited about it, I feel like it does kind of fit my makeup style a little bit more these days. I really don't need a lot of shimmers because I have a lot of great shimmer shadows I love, but I might grab that one. I don't know. I don't know for sure, but that is currently like the palette on my list right now. Not even at the top, like it's just the only palette on my wish list right now. So please let me know if you think that palette is worth it. It's a pretty pricey palette, but if you tend to like Patrick Ta palettes, I mean, I feel like you probably know what his formula is like and you might think it's worth it, but are the shades worth it? Or do you feel like they're very dupable within your collection? I'm just curious to hear your thoughts on it. I'm definitely grabbing the Tower 28 MakeWaves mascara. I think I might actually grab 2 of those because I do go through it kind of fast. I'm wearing it today, but I had to like really scrape the bottom of the tube because it is almost completely dried out. And there are multiple times over like the last 2 weeks where I almost went online and purchased it. And I was like, just wait. I know it's only a few dollars of savings, but if the sale is right around the corner, I was like, I might as well wait. And it's not like I don't have other mascaras that I can use. I'm kind of into tubing mascaras lately. I feel like tubing mascaras, not only are they really easy to remove at the end of the night, which I really appreciate, they look a little bit more natural on the eyes. Like they give you length, but they're not overly dramatic, like overly voluminous. And I feel like if I have a very natural makeup look, a tubing mascara usually pairs really well with it. I think I will also repurchase the Glossier Boy Brow Gel. Again, running very low on that. I tend to switch back and forth between that one and the NYX Brow Gel. I don't know exactly why I get on a kick where I use one over the other. I almost think the Glossier Boy Brow is a little bit more natural looking on the brows. It feels a little bit softer. I have it on today. I mean, I always go in and fill my eyebrows in with a brow pen too, but I don't know. I feel like it's not as intense as the NYX one. And I feel like overall, I've just been doing like really light, quick makeup. So that is it for like eye and brow products. There are quite a few products on my complexion wish list right now. Some that I am curious to try, and then a lot of products I want to repurchase. So I'm not planning on grabbing everything. One of the products that I haven't tried that I've been thinking about grabbing for a little while is the Milk Makeup Pore Eclipse Matte Setting Powder. What do you think about this powder? I will say I do not need a lot of new powder. Powder is one of my favorite products, so I have a drawer full, and truthfully, I should probably work on using a lot of them up in 2024 before buying new ones. But is this a really mattifying powder? My skin has been really oily again lately, and part of it is because I have been wearing like lighter, more moisturizing complexion products. So a lot of the base products I'm wearing aren't mattifying. So I feel like as someone with oily skin, I expect my skin to get a little bit more oily throughout the day. Today, I'm actually testing out the new Catrice Tinted Serum, and I will say it went on really nicely. It seems like it's going to be a beautiful formula, but because my skin has been getting so oily, like sometimes I do appreciate a very matte setting powder. Usually I use the Huda Beauty one. I also like the Patrick Starrr one. What do you think, or how do you think the Milk Makeup compares to those? I know it's my job here on YouTube to share my recommendations, the products I love, but the reason why I love YouTube so much is because you guys always share your recommendations as well. Like in my last video where I was testing out new drugstore makeup, a few of you shared tips on how you like to use the products, how you get them to work best for you. And I find that so helpful. Like I really feel like YouTube has that community vibe. So I always appreciate if you share your thoughts on products too. So that's what I'm considering. I have the Patrick Starrr mini setting powder on my loves list because every time I travel, I mean, I've been packing the bigger one because that has been one of my go-tos. It is so big, it takes up so much room. Although we don't have any travel on our calendar for the foreseeable future. Like I told my husband, let's just have like a low-key summer. Let's stay home, hang out in the backyard, hang out with family. We traveled kind of a lot with our first son when he was a baby. We went on like I don't even know, like 10 to 12 trips maybe. And that was fun. It really was. We did so many things with him. But now that we have two, I'm like, no. After our first flying experience, I talked about that in my video where I shared we adopted our son. I was like, let's just stay home for the foreseeable future. So I guess I probably don't need that, but I do think it's nice that that product comes in a mini, either for travel or so you can actually test it out ahead of time. The other new product that I have on my list, I actually forgot about this, is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Mattifying Water Powder Serum. So now that I'm looking at this, I don't even remember exactly what it does, but apparently when it launched, I was curious enough about it that I added it to my list. It's a mattifying water to powder serum that primes, absorbs shine, and visibly refines the skin. Oh, okay. I remember now. When I heard about this product, I thought it sounded really similar to that Farsali serum they used to have. I think it was called like their oil control. What was that called? Because Makeup Revolution also duped it, but Farsali discontinued theirs, and then I think the Makeup Revolution one was discontinued too. Here it is. It was their liquid powder serum. I loved this product so much. It basically felt like a serum or like water when you initially applied it, but then it dried down and gave your skin like this soft, mattified, almost powdery texture. So it just kept my oily skin from getting out of control so well. Like I would wear that product with a matte foundation and a matte powder, and in the summertime, like my makeup would not move. So I think when I heard about this product from Danessa Myricks, I was like, oh, I need to try that. So I might actually grab that. I feel like that would be so nice to have during the summer. And then a few complexion products I need to repurchase. The Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer. I actually did repurchase that, I think back in February, because I ran out of mine completely. We were out of town and it was just like a quick, easy product that I love just throwing on the go. I normally wear the shade N4, and for some reason, when I was on Sephora's website, I was like, maybe I'll try N5. They're not that different. They're both described as like a light neutral. I think N5 is maybe slightly deeper. I don't know why I went with that one because it was actually way too dark on my skin and like a little bit orangey. So I need to repurchase N4. I'm keeping N5 because I was like, I'm not going to return it. I could have, I guess, but I can make it work for me. And honestly, if we're going to be home all summer and spending like a lot of time outside, maybe I'll get a slight tan and then that will actually be perfect. But N4 really is my perfect shade right now. So I want to repurchase that. And then also the Tower 28 concealer in the shade DTLA. I pulled the stopper out of that. That's a tip. If you haven't done that with like your concealers, your lip products, if you pull the stopper out when you think that you run out, you can get quite a bit more use out of them, usually. That's definitely been the case for the Tower 28 concealer for me. So I'm, again, almost done with that one. I've been using like every little last bit. It's such a beautiful formula. I'm wearing it today. Sometimes I'll wear that in place of foundation. So I want to grab that as well. And then I'm almost done, or am I almost done with the LYS Beauty Powder? That's like on my list forever because it is one of my favorite products. So I always just repurchase that if I can get a discount on it because I always end up going back to it anyway. That and the LYS Beauty Setting Spray. I still have like two, or how much do I have left? I don't know. I used up at least half of the bottle, but I almost use that every single day. So I figured I might as well grab it while I can get it for a discount. I don't usually buy like a lot of backups, but again, if it's something that I know I'll buy like in the next few months anyway, I might as well grab it while I can get a few dollars off. So there's only one skincare product and one hair product on my list for this sale. I don't feel like I need a lot of new products in either department. I have some that I'm currently enjoying, and I'm just kind of focusing on using some products up before adding a bunch of new ones to my collection. So the hair product is the Amika Perk Up Dry Shampoo. I'm almost out of like all of my dry shampoos. I had like 3 different bottles open at the same time, just different formulas I was using. And I think I settled on this one from Amika. Like that has been my favorite lately. So that's the one I probably will repurchase. I do like some good drugstore options as well. And I don't know, dry shampoo, again, is something I kind of go through phases with. Like I'll really be in love with one specific formula and then I'll switch to another one. I don't know. I feel like because dry shampoos are so scented, like sometimes it's just nice to switch them up. And I was using what's that brand? Vegamore, their Grow Dry shampoo, and I felt like that was fine, but I think the Amika one is maybe a little bit more effective. So I do plan on grabbing that. And then the Tower 28 Daily Barrier Recovery Moisturizer. I actually used this a good amount during the winter. I don't know that I need it right now because I was dealing with like a lot of irritation and eczema during the winter, like on my face, on my neck. So Now that it's warmer outside, that's not as much of a concern, but I feel like that's just a nice product to have on hand. Like when your skin freaks out and nothing seems to work and everything's irritating it, that product is very, very gentle. And I feel like it just kind of like gets my skin back to its baseline. There are a few moisturizers I've tried that tend to do that. Like I have one from Skin Fix I love, one from First Aid Beauty. I really do like that product. I feel like it will just be nice to have on hand. So I'm kind of thinking about picking that up too. If you have any other recommendations, please let me know. I feel like maybe I'm still out of the loop when it comes to a couple of new launches just because I took some time off. I looked through the new hair section, the trending section, and I don't know, I feel like there aren't a ton of products that caught my eye. I did do a video on like viral products I'm not going to buy. If you need to be like talked out of launches, I'll link that video below and on the screen for you. But if there's anything that you truly love that you think is worth the money, please let me know. Or if there's anything you want me to review on my channel, because that is why I'm here. Stay tuned because I will be sharing that video on all of the new Sephora sets. There are a ton of them and some that I think are definitely worth checking out. So it might be a nice idea to grab them during the spring savings event where you can get even more of a discount. So that video will be up in a few days and I'll see you then. Bye.